Good afternoon, dear students. I am Abhishek, your biology teacher. We will discuss about the biology. Now, the very first question arises that what is biology? How can we define the biology? Biology can be defined as science of life. The biology word itself is made up of two words, which are bios and logos, from two Greek words, bios and logos. Bios word represent life and logos word represent study. Simply, so we can say that biology is the branch of science which deals with the study of life. Some historical aspect which we should consider when we are discussing about the biology is the scientist who invent this word biology. There are two scientists. One is Lamarck and another is Treviranus. The term biology is coined by two scientists, Lamarck and Treviranus. And further, one prominent philosopher which is considered as the father of biology is Aristotle. Why Aristotle is considered as the father of biology? Because he was the person who first of all demonstrated the types and property of all the living organisms which are found in our surroundings. Now, one thing is clear that the biology is the branch of science which deals with the study of life. It is the one statement definition about the biology, and we should memorize it. Now, biology deals with the study of life. Then the very first question arises. Yeah, the very first question should be arise in our mind that what is life? How can we define life? How can we differentiate the living organism from the non-living things which are spread in our surroundings, which are present in our surroundings? So, the very first word which should be defined after the word biology is the life. What is life? So, in the one statement, which can say that, which can explain the life as life is an expression of complex metabolic activities. Listen carefully, listen with your full concentration that life is an expression of complex metabolic activities which are regulated by enzymes. The part of definition which mention the term enzyme should be used or can be used in later explanation. The very first thing about the life is what is life? Life is an expression of metabolic activities. Life is an expression of metabolic activities which are regulated by enzymes. The term enzymes will be explained in later section. Now, the definition is now set. Biology is the study of life, and life is an expression of metabolic activities which are regulated by enzymes. And then on the basis of this definition of life, we can also define the death, the stoppage of metabolic activities. The non-occurrence of metabolic activities can be defined as the death. When we are saying that life is an expression of metabolic activities, then what is death? Death is a non-occurrence of metabolic activities. Any object where metabolic activities are not occurring, it can be considered as the non-living, or it can be considered as the dead. Now, there should be some parameters, there should be some examples on the basis of which we can differentiate, we can accurately explain the nature of metabolism. Now, what are the processes which we should consider when we are defining the metabolism? Metabolism itself is a very big term. Metabolism expresses all those chemical reactions, all those activities which are expressed by a living organisms, or you can also say that metabolic activities are all those activities which are happening inside the cell or inside the body of a living organisms. There are several parameters. on the basis of which can grade, which can classify the different types of organisms we see in our daily life. Daily life, you can observe there are many types of living organisms. There is nothing scientist, there is nothing very hard to detect, hard to identify which is non-living and which is living. In the classroom itself, in which we are discussing this particular subject, biology, if I ask a question to you that please explain, or please give the example of two non-living and two living things, so then you can easily say that, very easily you can find out that the desk and bench, the duster and the board and the marker, fan, light, all these things are non-living. And the human beings. And if in case of you observe any insects or outside window, you can see the birds or plants, you can easily say that these things are living. Plants, birds, insects, we are human beings also example of living being. Any doubt? Human being, which when we are discussing this particular subject, we are living or not living? Living, obviously, because we are performing several metabolic activities, we are talking to each other, we are moving from one place to another place, we are interacting, we can feel ourselves, we can feel our presence, we can feel our activities, we are inspired. There are so many activities on the basis of you can easily define, easily differentiate. But when we will discuss about the syllabus, when we discuss NEET oriented or any competitive examination oriented or any examination, suggest say your board examination. So there are several types of examination in which we should use this information. Then these information should be represented in a particular sequence. One by one, we will discuss the different activities or different properties of living beings, which can be considered as the fundamental properties of living beings. So sequence is very important, and there will be some keywords through which we will explain it, and those keywords we should memorize also for our examination point of view. Consider that. We said that we discussed earlier that biology is the science of life or study of life. Life is an expression of metabolic activities, and the metabolic activities are the basis of differentiation. Metabolic activities are the basis of differentiation between the living and non-living. Now, which activities should be considered as the fundamental property and which activities should not be considered as the fundamental properties? Now define it one by one. When we consider the NCERT, one additional information which I want to share with you all, that if we discuss about the medical entrance examination, there is only one examination which is known as NEET, National Eligibility Entrance Test. National Eligibility Entrance Test, NEET, held nationwide for the admissions in different medical colleges of this country, India. So in Indian medical colleges, if we want admission, then we should go through the NEET examination. Now, when we talked about NEET, then we should know that very clearly that the more than 85%, we can say that accurately that between the 80 to 90% questions are arising from or asking from the NCERT book itself. So whatever we will discuss, any topic which we will discuss in future, we will based on the discussion will be based on the NCERT book. So further ensure that everyone should possess NCERT books. It is very necessary for the NEET. And apart from this NCERT book, we will also discuss your board book. Almost maximum information will be same. For example, if we define cell, so NCERT also said that cell is the structural and functional unit of life, and your state book will be also defined as cell also defined in the state book. Cell is defined as same. Cell is a structural and functional unit of life. So there is a lot of similarity. So don't think that the NCERT says something other statement or something other definition, and state board says something other definition. There are very slight differences. At some places, the state board will be more explanatory in comparison of NCERT. But from the point of view of NEET examination, we should consider on the NCERT book, and the current explanation which we are discussing with each other are based on the NCERT pattern. The first topic, very first topic of the biology is named as living world. Very first topic. What is the first topic? Living world. It properly explain the differences between the living and non-living, and further it also explains how many types of living organisms are found in our surroundings, how many different types of, what is the diversity of life. Diversity means what is the meaning of diversity? Diversity means the type. Simply, diversity means type. There are various types of living organisms. When we said the word living organisms, then basically plant and animals come to our mind. But apart from the plant and animal, there are many also. There are other types of living organisms are also, which we will discuss in this chapter later. But first, we will define the living world. Living world explains that the life is very unique phenomena. Scientifically, we should define what is life. Philosophically, we define what is the purpose of life. What is our focus? Our focus is NEET. Our focus is board examination. So scientifically, we will define only the what is life. Life. What is life? How can we define life? Living world related to the living organism. Living organisms represent life. Life is expressed by metabolic activity. One thing clearly established, one thing clearly memorize that in your minds, that if there is life, there is metabolic activities. If there is metabolic activities, there is life. Life and metabolic activities are synonymous. They cannot be separated. No metabolic activities, no life. No life, no living organisms, no expression of metabolic activities. Now, the examples of metabolic activities, very first, growth. The basic definition of growth is that the irreversible increase in the mass, size, shape of organisms. Remember that. Irreversible increase in mass, shape and size of organisms. So when mass will increase, when size will increase, when there is the increase in number of components of living organisms. So we can define the growth is represented by the cell division, the very basic method for the increase in the number. So growth. In daily life, we also see that the wall is growing day by day by the efforts of labor. The bridge is formed, it is also growing in size and shape and mass. But what is the difference between the growth of non-living organisms and growth of living organisms? The basic difference is that the growth that is represented by irreversible increase in mass, size and shape is done by, is facilitated by intrinsic forces. There is no outer deposition of material. If you see in your life that your brother is 3 years old and then 6 years old and then 15 years old, and there is increase, you see, in daily life. But how it is happening? It's not happening due to the deposition of material on the outer side. There is no plaster is deposited, no cementing is done on the outer surface of the body, but it occurs due to the intrinsic forces. There are intrinsic factors which cause this growth in muscles, in bones, in height and so on, the growth of teeth and development of different capabilities. Nothing is external. All this comes from intrinsic factors. So then the organism, the object which show the growth results from the intrinsic factor will be considered as the growth in case of living organisms. What is the definition of growth? The definition of growth is irreversible increase in mass, in volume, in size, and shape of a particular organism. Next property is reproduction. A very common term. Reproduction simply means that multiplication. Multiplication means that increase in number. There is one organism, two organism, then four, then six, then eight, and they are increasing day by day, increasing day by day. That process of multiplication, in which an organism produces the same offsprings, the same types of new organisms, is considered as reproduction. There are several methods, and in later units we will define at a larger scale this process, reproduction. It is a very important topic, physiological process, reproduction. The first living characteristic which we discussed is growth, and after growth what we are discussing? Reproduction. So growth is cell division, it is also a type of multiplication, and reproduction, it is also a type of multiplication. So there are some organisms in which the growth and reproduction can be synonymous. There will be both term can be used synonymously, and these are unicellular organisms, the living organisms which are made up of only one cell. In that case, we can synonymously use the word growth and reproduction. They multiply by the cell division, and the resultant product of their cell division is the daughter cell. That means they are reproducing. They are producing new progeny, new offspring. So, but only in case of unicellular organisms. Not in it cannot be the growth and reproduction cannot be used in the organisms with complex level of organizations. For example, tissue level, and further there are many different types of level organization which we will discuss in later units. So only in case of unicellular organisms we can say that growth or reproduction. So reproduction is the process of multiplication, and there are various methods of reproduction. For a very short discussion, the reproduction may be of two types: asexual and sexual. In asexual reproduction, only one parental cell participate, and in sexual reproduction, there are two types of sexes, two types of parent, two types of cells participated. That's all. In asexual reproduction, there is no mixing of genetic material from different sources, and in sexual reproduction, there is mixing of genetic material from different sources. So it is the basic difference between the asexual and asexual reproduction. Further, if you say that what is the different modes of asexual reproduction, then asexual reproduction may be occur by fragmentation, by gemma cup formation, by budding, by fragmentation. The organisms which are filamentous in nature, for example, some algae like Spirogyra, Cara, Oedogonium, there are multicellular filamentous algae, and they break, and simply they break, and every broken part can be grown into the new complete organism, new complete algae. It is a type of asexual reproduction where there is no mix up of genetic material, or there is no mixing of genetic material from two different sources. It is known as asexual reproduction. And then sexual reproduction, asexual and sexual, two basic types of reproduction. And sexual reproduction, there are gamete formation, gamete transfer, and then union of gametes. The union of gametes is a step which brings about the mixing of genetic material from two different parents, and it also forms the basis of variations. These terms are described later. We are discussing about the fundamental properties of living organisms. You should consider one thing, that how many processes, these processes are required for the existence of living organism. Further fundamental features are: number 1, growth; number 2, reproduction; number 3, metabolism; number 4, cellular organization; and number 5, consciousness. There are 5 fundamental features which are the basis of differentiation between the living and non-living. Further, asexual and sexual, then metabolism, then cellular organization, then consciousness. Now the question is that is reproduction is essential for the existence of life? The answer is no. The reproductive process is not required. Carefully listen that the process of reproduction is not required for the existence of a single individual. If one individual do not reproduce, even it successfully completes its life cycle. For example, if we consider, for example, in science, everything should be exemplified. For every phenomena, there is an example, and we should quote it. We are saying that reproduction is not required for the existence of a particular individual. What are the examples? There are many examples. For example, mule. In Hindi, you can say khachar, the combination of horse and donkey. It cannot reproduce. It cannot reproduce, but it survived successfully. So, if we compare the process of reproduction from other metabolic processes, then we are in the state that we can say that reproduction is not the most fundamental features of all the living organisms. And why? What is the cause of it? The only cause is that reproduction is not required for survival of an individual. For those metabolic characters which are required for the survival of an individual, only those metabolic characters should be considered as the very basic, very primary fundamental features of the living organisms. Then growth, metabolism, cellular organization, and consciousness. We are saying repeatedly that life is an expression of metabolism, life is an expression of metabolism. So all these happenings are part of metabolism. All these happenings are a type of metabolism. Now, then metabolism, which events can be considered as the metabolism? For example, photosynthesis, respiration, digestion, movement and locomotion, and all these processes occur due to the internal force, intrinsic factors. There is no external forces are involved in the happening of these metabolic activities. Then metabolism. So metabolism, all the chemical reactions, which are all the reactions, all the activities which are occurring inside the body of a living organisms are collectively termed as metabolism. And metabolic reactions on the broad scale can be divided into two parts: anabolism and catabolism. Metabolism is further maybe of two types: anabolism and catabolism. Anabolism is a synthetic process which absorbs energy from its surroundings, and its nature is endothermic. For example, photosynthesis. And catabolic processes are destructive in nature, in which the complex molecules are broken into simpler ones, and it is exothermic because it releases energy. And living organisms also learned to trap this energy for the maintenance of their steady state. We will discuss it later. Metabolism. It includes for the occurrence of metabolism, there should be a fixed organization. There should be a definite structures for the help of which all these metabolic activities can occur. There should be a particular structure. There should be particular organelles which will involved in the happening of occurrence of these metabolic activities are obviously metabolic activities are chemical reactions, and they cannot happen in the vacuum, they cannot happen in the space without any medium. So there should be a medium, and that medium is considered as the organization. There should be different types of organization. The very basic type of organization is cellular organization, and that's why we consider the cell as the structural and functional unit of life. And the next and very important is the consciousness. In short, we can say that the ability to feel is known as consciousness. And note that consciousness is the most exclusive fundamental feature of the living organisms, which clearly differentiate the living from non-living. Now, what is consciousness? We discussed that consciousness is the ability to feel the change in the surrounding or inside the body of a living organism. There are many factors which play an important role in the existence of life. So any change in these factors can cause the harm to the living organism. So there should be a property by which we can feel these changes and accommodate ourselves according to these changes. If we fail to do so, then the life will be in danger, obviously. And it also it also can be related with the daily activities. For example, for a while in winter, what you do? You use different types of warm clothes, sweater, shawl, coat, and so on. And what you do in summer? All these warm clothes are off, and there are very thin clothes, which so it make us feel comfortable. Why comfortable? For the easy convenient existence of life. So consciousness, we can feel our hunger, we can feel our thirst, we can feel the presence of any danger. So all these properties are related with the consciousness. So note that there are fundamental features, there are fundamental metabolic activities which clearly differentiate between the living and non-living. These are the informations which are related with the living world. Further, we will describe the different types of organisms which is considered as the diversity of living world. We will discuss in the next lecture. Thank you.